necessarily believe it just because people would believe anything that they saw written in a book. But we live in a time when JWoww and Snooki and The Situation from Jersey Shore are all published authors, so we don't have that luxury. And I recently read the entire Bible, Old and New Testament, by which I mean I listened to the audiobook. And I was very surprised to learn that it's very different from what I've been told that it says. And I don't know if religious leaders are just trying to get your money, or they want to feel important, or they just think it's funny to fuck with you. But I know that anybody who's read this book has to know that it's full of mistakes and self-contradictions and doesn't make any sense and doesn't even claim to have been written by God. It very clearly says it's written by various human authors. One thing I didn't know about the Bible before I read it is that the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are just the same story of Jesus' life 4 times from start to finish. Except that they're not the same story, exactly. They're a little different each time. So, in Matthew, this is the Bible reading portion, Jesus says to Peter, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. In Luke, he says the same thing a different way. "The rooster shall not crow this day, before you will deny 3 times that you know me." So you see, it's the same thing, but they're not exact quotes. You shouldn't take any of this as exact quotes. In John, he says the same thing with different wording. "The rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. But in Mark, Jesus says, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And of course, whichever way Jesus predicted it, once or twice, that's how many times the rooster crows. So in Mark, the rooster crows before Peter denies Jesus 3 times, even though in John, Jesus didn't promise us that the rooster wouldn't crow until after Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And of course, what difference does that make, right? I'm being totally nitpicky. It doesn't make any difference to the message of the Bible, how many times the rooster crows, who cares? Totally irrelevant. But the point is that this book is not a perfect, divine, error-free book, and anyone who's read it knows that. And it is at best divinely inspired in the same way that a movie might be inspired by a true story, or I might be inspired to drink a margarita by a beautiful sunset, which is to say that the one does not resemble the other. We all see ball games where people hold up those signs that say John 3:16, and that's the verse in John, the Gospel of John, that says that the way to go to heaven is to believe in Jesus. The thing is, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus never says anything like that. He says exactly the opposite of that. He says that the way to go to heaven is to obey the 10 Commandments and to give money to the poor, and that's it, nothing else. And he specifically says, obey the 10 Commandments, and one thing also, give money to the poor. And keeping in mind that John was a street preacher who was, according to the Bible, was a street preacher, John the Baptist, before he ever even heard of Jesus peddling some new religion before. So think about what John's version, that the only way to go to heaven is to believe in Jesus, regardless of what good or bad act. If you kill people, if you give money to charity, it makes no difference. Just believe in Jesus and that's it. Just think about whether that makes any sense at all as a way the world might work, other than that it makes perfect sense as a way to sell a new religion. Who here's a sports fan? Yeah! So any of you plan on going to like a ball game, a televised ball game anytime in the future? Oh yeah! Right there? Alright. So this is the verse of John that says that the rooster will crow. The rooster will not crow before Peter betrays Jesus 3 times. And this is the verse of Mark that says that the rooster does crow before Peter betrays Jesus 3 times. So if you want to give people some other Bible verses they can read instead of John 3:16, you can take this to the game. And just give people some other parts of the Bible to think about. Happy Easter, everybody. Yeah! Yeah!